Okay, let's continue our study of systems. This is probably my favorite way to solve a system, and it's called elimination. Okay, when you're doing elimination, you have to make sure all of the terms are lined up vertically. Make sure that they're all lined up. Okay, you may need to rearrange to make this happen. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Are they lined up? Are x's on top of each other? Lined up. Then come the y's. Then come the equal signs. Then come the numbers. Okay, this is called standard form. Standard form is not like slope-intercept form. It's not y equals. It's x's, y's, equal signs, numbers. Okay, examine the coefficients. You want two of the coefficients to eliminate. To eliminate. Okay, what that means is cancel out. You want them to cancel each other out. Okay, so let's take a look here. Do I have x's that eliminate? No. Okay. Do I have y's that eliminate? No. Okay. So we're not quite ready. I'm going to have to do something here to get them to eliminate. Now I notice that the y's are 2 and 2. That's almost going to cancel out. Okay, if only one of them were a positive 2 and one of them were a negative 2. Okay, so what I'm going to do is multiply this entire bottom equation by a negative 1. Okay, and this is what you do. You say yields, okay, or forms. Here's the new system. So the top equation, I'm doing nothing with that. That equation is going to stay the same. Now the bottom equation, the entire thing, every single one of its terms is going to get multiplied by negative, so it's going to become the opposite. So negative times negative, that's going to be a positive 3x. A negative times a positive 2, that's going to be a negative 2y. They're all becoming the opposite. This is not going to be a negative 12, but a positive 12. Now let's take a minute here to look. Is something going to cancel out? X's? No, they're not going to cancel out. But the y's, look at that. A positive 2 and a negative 2 cancel out. That means that we're ready to start. Okay, so what we're going to do here is add the two equations together. Okay, we're going to add them together. 1x plus 3x makes 4x. Positive 2y, negative 2y, those cancel out. We still have our equal sign. 12 plus 12 is 24. Okay, if you get it nice and ready for elimination, one of the variables immediately goes away and you should only have one variable. If you divide both sides by 4, you can solve for x equaling a 6. Okay, so after you add them together, you solve for one of the variables. Solve for one variable. Okay, but we're not done. Okay, because that's only half of our solution. When you have a system with two letters, you have to find two numbers. So we're going to use the value from number 4. We're going to use x equal to 6 to solve for the other variable. Not x, but we have to find the y. And here's where you've got a bunch of options. You can plug 6 into this x spot or this x spot. This x spot looks really icky. That's probably the worst one. Maybe I'll choose to plug it into that spot. You just have to take the value of 6 and plug it into any of these equations. This top equation is the same as that one, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to choose the nicest one I can find. I'm going to substitute 6 in for the x. 6 plus 2y equals 12, and this will allow me to solve for the other variable. Let's subtract 6 from both sides. 2y equals 6. Divide by 2. Y equals 3. So the solution is the ordered pair, is the point x comma y, 6 comma 3. The solution to the system using elimination. Okay, I really like elimination because it's kind of fun. All right, let's do it again. Okay, we'll use these steps. Number 1, make sure all the terms are lined up. I see x's, then y's, then equal sign, then number. Okay, everything is lined up. It's arranged the way I need it to be. Step 2, does anything eliminate? Do the x's cancel out the way they are? They do. Well, great. We can just go ahead and get started. If something is eliminating, let's immediately add the two equations together, or let's just do our elimination. So x's cancel out. 3 plus 5 is 8y equals 24. Dividing both sides by 8, y equals a 3. Okay, that's awesome. But we're not done, okay, because the solution is find both of the values. So we have to find the value of x. Where would you like to substitute the 3? We have two choices. We could put it into the top equation or the bottom equation. Those are two choices. Some people like to look and say, well, the top one doesn't have as many negatives, and the numbers seem a little smaller, so that's why I would pick it. It doesn't matter where you substitute it. They're both fine equations, but I always try to do the easier one. So let's put the 3 right there. 2x plus 3 times the y value equals 11. 2x plus 9 equals 11. Let's subtract the 9 from both sides. 2x equals 2, and x equals to 1. So I believe that the solution for this system is the point 1, 3. I do want to make sure I get an A this chapter, so I'm going to go over here and just do a little bit of work to check. I'm going to take the numbers 1 and 3 and plug them into the equation just to make sure. Okay, first equation, 2x plus 3y. That's going to be 2 times the number 1 plus 3 times the number 3 equals 11. Does that indeed work? Does 2 plus 9 equal 11? Yes. Okay, but it has to work in both, remember? Negative 2 times x plus 5 times the y equals 13. Does negative 2 plus 15 make a 13? Indeed it does. Okay, so checking your solution, that's old. The only thing that's really new here is how we line them up and get them ready for elimination. Okay, and then substituting the one number in to find the other. That should be just like yesterday. Okay, all right, number 2. Are the variables lined up the way we like them? Do we have x's, y's, equal sign, number? We do. Okay, so I think we're ready to start. Does anything eliminate, or are we going to have to do some work? I think those don't eliminate. Does negative 4y and positive 4y cancel each other out? I think we're good to go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add these equations together. 6x minus 3x is 3x. The y's are going to eliminate. Whenever you do elimination, one of the variables should immediately cancel out, and then you should only have one variable left. Divide both sides by 3. I think x is a 5. Okay, now you're only halfway done because we have to substitute 5 somewhere for an x to find the y value. Okay, where would you like to substitute the 5? The top equation or the bottom equation? Don't know that it really matters, so I'll just go ahead and pick the top one since it doesn't have a negative. It doesn't matter, just whatever you choose. 6 times 5 minus 4y, okay, equals 14. So we found the x value, now we're trying to find the y value. 6 times 5 is 30. Write the rest of the equation. Let's put the numbers on one side. Let's subtract 30 from both sides. Don't forget the negative here. Negative 4y equals 30 minus 14. That's negative 16. And here I have to divide both sides by a negative. And a negative divided by a negative makes a positive 4. So the solution, I think, is 5, comma 4. Okay. And number 3 wants us to check our solution for number 2. Okay, so we're going to check into the 2 equations. So let's check the first equation. 6 times the x. The x number is 5 minus 4 times the y number, which is 4. Does that indeed make a 14? Let's see, does 30 minus 16 make a 14? 14 does equal 14. Check. Equation number 2. Negative 3 times the x, which is 5, plus 4 times the y, which is 4. Does that make a 1? Does negative 15 plus 16 make a 1? Yes, 1 does equal 1. Okay, so our solution is correct. Okay, last one. I'm looking at the x's, the y's, the numbers. They're all lined up perfectly. Okay, does anything eliminate? Well, 4 and 5 don't eliminate. A 3 and a 3 does not eliminate, but it's close. A positive 3 would eliminate with a negative 3. So I think I'm going to take this bottom equation here. Okay, put parentheses around the entire thing. Every term in that equation needs to get multiplied by negative 1. So let's use equal signs, and here's our new and improved system. The top equation, that's just going to stay the same. Okay, don't do anything to the top equation. Now the bottom equation are all going to get changed to the opposite. Negative 5x, negative 3y, and not a negative 2, but a positive 2. Okay, let's just check one more time. Are we ready to start our elimination? Is everything lined up, and does one of the letters cancel out? Okay, then we are ready. Let's go ahead and add our equations together. 4 minus 5 is negative 1x. The y's are going to eliminate. 2 plus 2 is 4. If I divide both sides by negative 1, x is negative 4. Okay, but remember, that's only half of the work. We got just a little bit more to do because we have to solve for the y value. And we could put negative 4 anywhere we want. I guess the question is, do you want to replace it in this x spot on the first equation or the second equation? It doesn't really matter. Maybe I'll just go ahead and substitute into that first equation right there. Now, you don't have to draw these arrows when you're doing your work. If you're working neatly, any mathematician will be able to follow what you're doing. They're going to see that you have 4. They're going to see that x is replaced with the value of x. They're going to see the rest of the equation there. And they're going to be able to follow what you're doing. Let's calculate and see if we can find our y value. Add 16 to both sides. 3y is equal to 18. 18 divided by 3 is 6. Okay, now it would be a really good idea, especially on a test, if you take your values, okay, and you check them in your equations. You could even just do that with your calculator, just to make sure that they are correct. Okay, so I think that the solution for this system is negative 4, comma 6. Also be very careful that you put them in the right spots. Some people have beautiful work, and at the very end, they mix up the position, and then they get the wrong solution. Okay? Good luck, and I hope you like elimination as much as I do.